Welcome to Sports Geek Throwback. Here's your host, the sports geek himself, Sean Callanan.
G'day, I'm Sean Callanan from Sports Geek, and welcome to Sports Geek Throwback, where I pick out the best bits from the Sports Geek podcast archive. For this week's Sports Geek Throwback, I go back to episode 226 with Colin Kelly, published in February 2019. Colin is the SVP for Marketing and Digital at LAFC, and I was lucky enough to catch up with him recently at Seat Las Vegas. Remember, if you have a digital team, marketing team, sponsorship team, I'm happy to help. I love working with podcast listeners, whether it is a Pick My Brain session or applying our digital to dollars process, which we've developed over the last 15 years to help sports teams deliver revenue from their digital channels. In this throwback episode, Colin and I discuss building a fan base, something that's fundamental for every single sports team. Remember, you can listen to the full episode at sportsgeekhq.com/226. Enjoy my chat with Colin Kelly.
So you were there, and then that sort of brings you to, I guess, Los Angeles.
Right.
And so time-wise, you arrived a couple of years before, I guess, first season, and while it's really in its infancy.
Yeah.
What was some of the challenges? And it's something that I now face. With Gravitas as with my esports team, we talk about fan zero, and starting from that point. You started in that same point at LAFC.
Yeah, I was here, again, 2.5 years before we ever kicked the ball.
Yep.
To have that kind of time was it was amazing to have that much time before things got serious. But it's amazing how quickly it went by. I was the only person in digital for 20 months out of that time. So it was. The challenge was, for us, is how do we make something out of nothing here?
Yeah, and I think it was, again, must have been 2 years ago maybe, or you must have only been early in that role, and I went and I caught up with you at the preview suite that was at that time just not far from Staples Center, and it was sort of showing off concepts. There was a mock-up of the stadium we're actually sitting in that wasn't, it was just starting to be built and those kind of things. And I remember you discussing, how do you connect with a fan when there's no signings, there's no players, and you started to release the colours and logos and stuff like that, and it was really community focused because it was really about hitting up a certain part of Los Angeles and saying this is going to be your team. It was really like going back to the olden days of social media and doing that that community management and reaching out one by one. Was that what a lot of that early months was like?
Yeah, that was our. It has now become such a mantra that we're putting it on merch, but at the time it was street by street, block by block, one by one.
Okay,
is how do we get down to that one person? And if we can make that one fan, we got to get one. So we get that one, and he tells his friend, and he tells that one. It became a very grassroots thing.
So was it something along the lines of you were having? Whether it be replying to people's tweets or talking on their, commenting on their Instagram and just, and having them feel the buzz of, the team's behind me, and you're like, cool, I've got another one.
Anybody who showed any interest in the club on social media that wasn't hateful, we would respond to. Yeah. And then the important thing, you could, and I love digital and work in digital, but to take it offline. And we're in that space that you saw, we used to do little barbecues in the back. Yeah, it'd be like a Friday afternoon, not unlike this one. Yeah, except better weather usually.
More sun. Yes, we don't have to keep talking about the weather. We are on a podcast. There's no video. No one knows it's cloudy, but we want to paint the picture. Yes, that's what audio does.
Complete picture here. Yeah, and people would come, and we'd bring, we'd have one of our now members, but at the time, one of our supporters has a little catering business. Chef Allen makes amazing tacos. He would make some tacos. Heineken would provide the beer, and we would just sit and talk what do we want this thing to be, from a fan perspective and a front office perspective, and really learn about each other and talk about what we see as the potential for this club that we're trying to build together.
If you like this Sports Geek Throwback episode, please check out the full episode at sportsgeekhq.com. Please share Sports Geek with your sports business colleagues. We appreciate you sharing. We love working with podcast listeners. Please get in touch so we can help your team. Go to sportsgeekhq.com/phone call. All Sports Geek episodes are available at sportsgeekhq.com and all podcast platforms.